Rule 1 of 10. Here is Rule 1 of 10, and it is a reality check for everyone who thinks a ticket guarantees overhead space. Nearly 20% of travelers are forced to hand over their carry-ons at the boarding gate, even if their bags meet every single size requirement. Most people assume that paying for a carry-on or bringing a standard 22 by 14 by 9-inch bag ensures a spot in the cabin. It simply does not. Ethan, a 42-year-old high school teacher, found this out the hard way at Tampa International, TPA, while heading to a wedding in Denver, DEN. He was on flight AA 1422 and stood at gate 12, feeling confident because he had measured his bag twice. But Ethan was in boarding group 9. The agent looked at his bag, then at the crowded jet bridge, and finally at the overhead bins already brimming with suitcases. She shook her head and reached for a pink gate check tag. "We are completely out of bin space, sir. This has to go underneath." Ethan's heart raced. His expensive DSLR camera and a tailored suit for the ceremony were inside. He was forced to gate check it and spend the next 4 hours worrying about baggage handlers. Stop. Here is how you keep your bag. Board as early as your group allows. If you find yourself in a late group, do not wait for the line to move. Approach the gate agent politely before the boarding process starts. Explain that you have fragile electronics or essential medical equipment that cannot be checked. In many cases, agents will prioritize your bag if you ask nicely before the chaos begins. If you see a full flight notice at the check-in kiosk, assume the bins will hit capacity halfway through boarding. Reality check. Gate agents are managing the aircraft's weight and balance limits. They are just doing their job. While you cannot always win, having a small emergency pack for your essentials inside your carry-on is key. Ethan's suit made it, but the stress was entirely unnecessary. Now he's ready for the next challenge. But what if your luggage isn't the problem, but the liquids inside it are? Rule 2 of 10. Rule 2 of 10 is about reclaiming your dignity in the security line. Stop squeezing your favorite skincare into those tiny, leaking travel bottles and wasting your precious quart-sized bag space. Ava, a 31-year-old real estate agent, learned this lesson while standing in a sweltering security line at Baltimore, BWI. She was passing through Concourse C, and her clear plastic bag was bursting. She had sunscreen, contact solution, and an expensive skin toner packed to the brim. The TSA agent gave her that look, the one that says something has to be thrown away or the line stops moving. Ava was beyond frustrated. She was facing a choice between her luxury products or making her flight on time, all because of a small plastic baggie. But here is the move that changes everything. Your toner does not actually have to count as a liquid. Instead of carrying the entire bottle, pre-soak your cotton pads in the toner and seal them in a small flat Ziploc bag. TSA often classifies these as wipes, and wipes are generally exempt from the standard 3-1-1 liquid rule. You can bring a month's worth of pre-soaked pads, and they will not take up a single inch of your liquid limit. Ava's bag went from overflowing to half empty in seconds. She even had room for her favorite moisturizing cream. Reality check. Keep the pads moist, but not swimming in fluid. If liquid is pooling at the bottom of the bag, an agent at BWI might still flag it as a liquid container. Ava made it to her gate with her toner and her peace of mind intact. But what happens once you are on the plane? The next secret is about the mechanical traps hiding right under your feet. Rule 3 of 10. This is Rule 3 of 10, and it involves a danger most passengers never see coming.
Gianna, a 26-year-old pharmacist from Boston, was settling into her seat for a long-haul flight out of Lisbon, LIS. She reached for her water bottle, and that's when the disaster happened. Her leather wallet slipped out of her pocket and slid into the dark, mechanical abyss beneath the metal seat frame. Most people would just reach down and try to grab it. Gianna almost did, but she remembered a warning she'd heard before. Modern airplane seats, especially in premium economy or business class, are essentially motorized nutcrackers. The danger is real. These seats have complex tracks, gears, and motors. If you move the seat or adjust the recline to find your item, you risk crushing your phone or shredding your valuables. In the last year, dozens of thermal runaway events were triggered by crushed lithium batteries inside airplane seats. It is not just about losing money. It is a major fire hazard at 35,000 feet.
Gianna felt vulnerable, staring at the metal tracks, knowing her credit cards were inches away but dangerously out of reach. Stop. If you drop something into the seat structure, do not touch the electronic seat controls. Call a flight attendant immediately. They carry high-powered flashlights and know exactly where the dead zones are located. Often they can reach from behind the seat to retrieve it safely without putting the aircraft at risk. If you are at a major hub like Lisbon, ground crew can even be called for truly wedged items after landing. Reality check. Flight crews are trained for this, but they aren't miracle workers. If a device is already crushed, the airline usually isn't liable for the damage. Your best defense is a zippered pocket or a dedicated tech pouch. Gianna stayed calm, got help, and recovered her wallet. But keeping gear safe is only half the battle. The next move involves the power sources that can get you fined thousands of dollars. Rule 4 of 10. Rule 4 of 10 deals with a mistake that could land you a 5-figure fine. Did you know that a tiny battery in your suitcase could result in a $15,000 penalty? Harper, a 29-year-old graphic designer, found this out the hard way at San Diego, SAN. She was running late for her flight and tossed her high-capacity power bank into her checked suitcase at the last second. As she reached Gate 32, a stern voice over the intercom called her name. Security officers were waiting for her. Her heart raced as they explained the situation. Putting lithium-ion batteries in the cargo hold is a violation of federal law under DOT and FAA regulations. These batteries are considered hazardous materials because they can overheat and cause fires that onboard suppression systems in the cargo hold cannot extinguish. If a battery vent flames in the hold, the pilots might not even know until it is too late. The solution is simple. Keep all power banks, laptops, and tablets in your carry-on luggage at all times. If a gate agent asks to check your carry-on because the overhead bins are full, stop immediately. You must remove all batteries and take them into the cabin with you. Most power banks under 100 watt-hours are perfectly fine to bring along, but anything larger might require special airline approval. Reality check. While the FAA can technically levy massive fines, they usually start with warnings for first-time offenders who are cooperative. Harper escaped the massive fine, but her expensive battery was confiscated, and she was delayed for hours while her bag was re-screened. Now that you know how to keep your gear out of the cargo hold, let's talk about the aircraft itself. This next fact might change how you view your modern flight. Rule 5 of 10. For Rule 5 of 10, we are looking at the age of the machines we trust with our lives. Did you know the average commercial aircraft in the United States is over 14 years old, with many narrow-body planes pushing 30? Leo, a 38-year-old software developer, sat in his cramped seat at Las Vegas, LAS, clutching his brand-new $1,200 smartphone. He'd just spent a fortune on the latest tech, yet he was currently hurtling through the air in a Boeing 757 built in 1998. The cabin smelled like stale coffee and old upholstery. Leo looked for a USB port to charge his dying battery, but there was nothing. Just a cigarette lighter from a bygone era that had been plugged shut. He looked up and saw a flickering CRT monitor hanging 3 rows ahead, playing a grainy safety video. It is a frustrating reality of modern travel. Airlines often prioritize engine maintenance and safety over cabin aesthetics. If the plane flies safely, they will keep it in the fleet for as long as possible. To avoid Leo's disappointment, always check the aircraft type on your booking, or use apps like Flight Radar 24 to see the specific tail number of your flight. If you see an older Boeing 757 or an early Airbus A320, pack a high-capacity power bank and download your movies offline before you leave the house. Remember, an old cabin does not mean an unsafe flight. It just means a low-tech one. Reality check. Keep your expectations realistic when flying older domestic routes. An older plane is just as safe as a new one, but it won't have the bells and whistles of a Dreamliner. Subscribe to not miss more travel secrets like this. Rule 6 of 10. Rule 6 of 10 is about protecting your finances from a single point of failure. You need to split your cash and cards right now. Chloe, a 45-year-old librarian from Boston, learned this the hard way at Logan International, BOS. She was reaching for her ID at a crowded terminal cafe when her hand slipped. Her entire wallet, containing 3 credit cards, $400 in cash, and her primary driver's license, fell into the bustle of the moving crowd. Stop. Everything Chloe needed for her international trip was gone in 5 seconds. She stood there frozen, realizing she had no way to pay for a taxi or check into her hotel. Your everyday wallet is a liability. In a foreign city or a busy terminal, it is a single point of failure that can end your trip before it starts. The fix is a simple system of separation. Never carry all your financial eggs in one basket. Keep 70% of your funds and a backup card in your hotel safe or a hidden zippered luggage compartment. Use a dummy wallet for your daily walks. This should be a slim, cheap card holder with 1 low-limit credit card and about $50 in cash. If a pickpocket strikes, you lose very little. Also, keep digital copies of your ID in a secure cloud folder or on an encrypted app. It will not buy you dinner, but it makes getting a replacement passport at an embassy much easier. Reality check. Organizing 2 wallets takes an extra 2 minutes every morning. But those minutes prevent a total travel disaster. Chloe eventually recovered her wallet after a stressful hour, but the panic nearly ruined her first day. Now your money is safe, but what happens when your body isn't? Rule 7 of 10. Rule 7 of 10 covers the emergency protocol you need for your health. Marcus, a 52-year-old accountant, sat at Cleveland Hopkins, CLE, pressing his palms to his temples. A sharp migraine was blooming behind his eyes, and he still had a 4-hour flight ahead of him. He signaled the flight attendant for a simple Tylenol. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I legally cannot dispense medication to you." Marcus stared at her, stunned. He just needed a basic over-the-counter painkiller. Flight attendants are restricted by strict liability laws and airline policies. If you have an allergic reaction to a pill they provide, the airline faces a massive lawsuit. Stop. Always pack a small mini pharmacy in your personal item. If you forgot your kit, ask the crew if a doctor is on board. Medical professionals have different legal protections under the Good Samaritan Act and can dispense medications from the plane's medical chest. Alternatively, you can ask to access the plane's emergency medical kit yourself under the supervision of a licensed professional if the airline allows. Most smart travelers now carry a small pouch with sealed ibuprofen, antacids, and antihistamines. Reality check. Crew members are there for your safety, but their hands are tied by legal departments. Marcus had to wait until he landed to find a pharmacy, suffering through every minute of the flight. Now, he never flies without his own supply. That was a nightmare for Marcus. But what if the airport is trying to pick your pocket through your stomach? Rule 8 of 10. Rule 8 of 10 is the ultimate cure for airport buyer's remorse. Do you ever feel like airport restaurants are just legal pickpockets? Asher, a 24-year-old marketing specialist, certainly did. He was stuck at New York, JFK, during a grueling 5-hour delay in Terminal 4. He stared at a $22 wilted Caesar salad and realized he was paying a premium for total disappointment. But here is the secret. TSA does not ban food, only liquids over 3.4 ounces. Asher could have bypassed the airport tax entirely. The king-sized hack is to pack high-quality instant noodles or gourmet oatmeal in your carry-on. Once you are through security at JFK, simply head to any coffee kiosk or airport bar and ask for hot water. Most places provide it for free or a nominal $1 charge. You get a hot, savory meal for pennies, while others around you are spending $30 on a mediocre burger. It is the ultimate way to beat the system. While some high-end lounges might decline the request, most vendors are happy to help a polite traveler. Asher now never flies without his noodle kit and a pair of chopsticks. Reality check. Some international destinations have strict rules about bringing open food across borders, so eat your meal before you land. Ready for the final secrets? Here is the twist that deals with your physical health. Rule 9 of 10. Rule 9 of 10 sounds like a myth, but it is a painful reality for many. Did you know that flying with a common cold can actually lead to permanent hearing loss? For Samuel, a 49-year-old architect flying out of Barcelona, BCN, it was a terrifying experience. He had a minor case of the sniffles, nothing serious, or so he thought. But as the plane began its descent toward the runway, that familiar pop in his ears turned into a sharp, stabbing sensation. It felt like a hot needle was being driven into his skull. This isn't just airplane ear. It is called barotrauma. When your eustachian tubes are blocked by congestion, they cannot equalize the pressure between the cabin and your inner ear. For Samuel, the pressure differential was so great it nearly tore his eardrum. He landed in Barcelona feeling dazed and partially deaf in one ear. Here is the fix. If you are congested, take a decongestant spray 30 minutes before the plane begins its descent. Use filtered earplugs specifically designed for flying. They slow down the rate of pressure change, giving your ears more time to adapt. While these tools aren't a 100% guarantee, they usually prevent the most severe damage. Samuel's hearing took 3 weeks to fully recover, and he missed several important meetings because he couldn't hear his clients. Reality check. If you are severely congested, consult a doctor before flying. It might be worth rescheduling a flight to save your hearing. Now you're ready for the final piece of the travel puzzle. Rule 10 of 10. Rule 10 of 10 is the final check that can save your entire identity. Check your seat back pocket one last time before you stand up to leave. For Julian, a 57-year-old journalist, forgetting this simple step turned a dream trip into a nightmare at Dublin, DUB. He was halfway through the terminal when he realized his passport was still in that small mesh pocket on Aer Lingus flight EI-104. By the time he realized his mistake, the cleaners were already on board and the cabin was secured. Julian tried to run back to the gate, but it was already locked. Security stopped him immediately. Without his papers, he was escorted to a windowless screening room for 4 grueling hours of questioning. The terror of being stuck in a foreign country without an identity is a feeling no one should experience. The fix is absolute. Never use that seatback pocket for your valuables. It is a black hole for phones, wallets, and passports. Keep your passport in a zippered pocket on your person or a dedicated neck pouch. If you do forget it, find an airline agent immediately and have your seat number and flight number ready. Airlines usually find these items, but the bureaucratic headache is massive and can take days to resolve. Knowledge is your ultimate boarding pass to a stress-free trip. Don't be the passenger the airlines take advantage of. Smash that subscribe button so you never get grounded by the system again.